Okay, we have,
So Rudy, when you're done,
yeah,
all you need to do is click end. Then you can leave it open and I'll put the.
and you'll,
recording on the phone.
okay,
Yeah, it's already being recorded, so whenever you're done your meeting, you can just go. You can click end.
just click in.
That's it.
And leave it open like that.
Perfect. Yeah,
Okay. Remind me.
Okay. Okay.
you've got this. Have a great night, folks.
Will we need to turn the camera on?
It's on, actually,
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
actually, you know what, though?
you can probably see better over here.
The,
Oh, yeah, you can't see us. They can't see us.
Ah.
Now they can. Okay.
There they
All
are.
right. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Hi, Woody. Hey, Charlie.
So we
Hello,
have,
Judy.
Shane cannot be here and Daryl cannot be here. So Carrie's gonna be appointed as a regular member for the evening, but she's the alternate, and Charlie, you can be a regular member too tonight, in case we
Wow.
have some. Oh, yeah, very exciting.
Oh, I didn't mean it that way. I was truly excited.
Okay. All right, so it is 5:30. And we do have a quorum. I don't know about Henrietta, whether or not she's coming. I haven't heard from her. Maybe not, maybe she's out of town.
I'll be back in 30 seconds. I just put some tea on.
Okay. We'll wait. Charles, are you in Washington right now?
Yeah, I am. I was planning to come, are you at the
Yeah, we're
town
at the
hall?
town hall, yes.
Yeah, I was planning to come, but something came up this afternoon that messed everything up. But next meeting, I'll come down and come personally from now on.
Great. Next meeting, I'm not gonna be able to be at, so I'm thinking that maybe we should change the date. I think we can do that.
Yeah, why
Because
not?
I'm gonna be out of the country on our next meeting date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna wait for Woody to come back for the minutes. Did you get some minutes?
I did. I'm just looking
Okay.
at them right now.
Do you have the minutes?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Made all these copies. And did you get a copy of the agenda?
I got a copy of the agenda as well.
You too? Okay, good.
I've got this figured out now, how to get things.
I know.
Just going to the Washington website is very
Yeah,
helpful.
that works. Yes.
So that,
Easiest way, I think, too.
yeah,
And we have Chris Charles here as a visitor. So we do have a quorum. Okay, so, you got the minutes. Have everybody read them and how do you feel about them?
I would
Can't
like
hear you.
their adoption.
you
for
move,
adoption?
I second.
A second, okay, so Charles seconds, it. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nobody, okay, so they're accepted. Okay, so the update on the Baldwin Hill property is that, the soil survey has been done, and I guess it's marked. And a check has been cut so that, Bill Fairburn can pay for that, and also a check has been cut to, start the feasibility study, so hopefully that will begin soon. To decide whether or not we can, how many bedrooms or homes we can put there. Okay, so,
But Judy,
yes,
sorry to interrupt, but the thought is that it could be for multiple homes or
well,
complex?
Bill, I mean, it could be for that, but Bill Fairburn feels that, there's more of a need for single family homes.
Okay.
I don't know, I guess we have to wait until we get that information, about how many homes could be built there. Chris, did you want to?
Yeah, I think part of what the feasibility study will determine is whether it can be subdivided into 2 building lots You could have two individual homes. It could be that it only lends itself to one building and one septic site, in which case multifamily is a little easier than a single family. At times.
Yeah, so we have to wait for that all to
Yeah,
happen.
I'm just a little behind it. How many acres is it? Or is it
Little
acres?
over, I think it's a little over 4 acres.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
So that's good size, yeah.
yeah, so we'll see.
I think a lot of the land is hard pan, so it's difficult for septic.
Yeah,
That's one of the problems.
I think it's fairly wet too,
Yeah.
because of the hard pan probably. Yeah. Okay, so the second thing on the agenda is report on the zoning subcommittee for multifamily housing. Slow progress, very slow progress. There's, we didn't move on anything at the last meeting, which was on March 30th. Because 2 of the members were not there and they seem to be the ones who are in agreement with each other about some things that maybe the rest of us are not in agreement about. And so we wanted to wait until they could be present to, participate in the meeting. So some of the things that are being, so multifamily housing is not necessarily going to be capital A affordable housing, but it probably will allow for more small a affordable housing, possibly, if we can get some multifamily housing in town. Some of the questions that have come up with, for one thing, is are these multifamily housing developments, are they going to be for rental or for sale? And they will be either for rental or for sale. The rental units will definitely be allowed. Let's see. Consistency was something that had been brought up. Consistency with attached. What do you call them? Chris, give me that word. The excessive. No, not excessive. What is it? What
Freestanding,
ADUs?
the,
what? Say what did you say?
well, I don't know, it's not the freestanding outbuildings, you mean? You're talking about making them?
No, I was talking about the, I can't think of the word. I'm having a terrible time with that word.
Accessory apartments?
Accessory apartments, so I did have the right word, but, okay, so accessory apartments. That's, that's still being debated whether or not there could be 2 attached accessory apartments. And or whether it's going to stand as 1 attached and 1 detached, that has to be determined. It was brought, we had in the regulations so far that there might have to be 100-foot setback from roads, and it was brought to our attention that would probably make it difficult for builders to do that. So we have to, visit that again. And let's see. Oh, the big controversy too is whether or not these multifamily housing are going to be by right or by, what's the other one? By
Site
right,
or
by
Pub-
yeah, by site plan, right? By
Yeah.
site plan review. So that's still, being discussed, and we will continue to discuss that. Let's see, what else?
if I can just add
Yeah,
to
go on.
previous
Add.
one, I think the 100-foot setback issue is true in the villages where there's less room to maneuver. But I think they're holding out in the residential parts where there's more wide open space to keep to
Right.
that standard.
Ted, welcome to the meeting. I can't hear you. I know you're muted. That's okay. But as you know, Ted is on the Washington Community Housing Trust. And we certainly welcome having him here. That's for sure. Does anybody have any input that you would like Woody or I to bring to our next meeting? No? Okay. So, all right, so the next thing was a discussion of the communications workshop. Kara, did you get to look at that?
Yes, I missed it live, but I watched the recording.
Yeah, Yeah, that's what I did too.
It's great.
How about you, Charles? Did you get to look at the communications?
I did, I
webinar?
did, and I was impressed. I thought it was very professionally done.
Yeah.
Very
And
good.
Woody, did you get?
I read the slides, the outline, but I didn't see any video.
Okay. Did I thought I sent it to everybody, but maybe not, the link, but you know what, I will send it to you.
Okay,
It's an hour. It's just about an hour and it's good. It's very good.
Judy,
So,
I didn't get that either. I just saw the slides. So if you could send it to me.
Okay,
as
I will
well.
send that.
Thanks.
Okay. So I had a copy of I don't know what this was the slides, and I think this communication plan for Salisbury Affordable Housing Commission. Did you get that?
yes, I did.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So that's very informative. And you know, I think the feeling is that we should be helping the Washington Community Housing Trust with their communication, and you know, we should coordinate our communication with theirs. Do you agree with that, Ted?
Yeah, I think I found it very interesting. And I think it points out a problem we have in Washington, which is that we have these two committees that are working not against each other, but don't present a united front to the town. I mean, I know myself years ago, I was totally confused by that there were two, because they sounded like the same, and they didn't know what one did as opposed to the other, and so forth. And this presentation, which is done by a professional communicator,
Yeah.
made the point that in Salisbury they have a number of housing entities, but they're all in a public relations perspective, all grouped under a single banner. And if we had something called the Washington Housing Trust Initiative or something like that, and both entities fed into that, and we presented ourselves as a single entity, it might might attract a broader spectrum of support. As you'll see when you look at the presentation, which is very well done, she suggests doing it with a website,
Yeah.
and then developing a mailing list and doing a number of things, which I'm not sure. I mean, the Housing Trust didn't have a website until about a year ago, or it had one, lost it, and then we resurrected it. And I'm not sure anybody looks at it except for people who are interested in renting our housing, and we have on our website, which you all might look at. It's easy to find. We help people understand how to apply for housing from the Housing Trust and how to rent our units at our various sites are available. So it's almost a rental website. It doesn't talk much about building affordable housing in Washington.
So
and
that needs
to
be the initiative, right?
Yeah, and now Michelle happened to tell me that she thought a website was a terrible idea, that nobody would look at it, and that might be true. I'm not sure a website that's how this presentation goes about describing it. I'm not.
Well, they talked a lot about Facebook too.
Yes, they did, and I happen to not even be a Facebook user. And I haven't, I mean. I don't, I imagine, right or wrong, I don't have time for Facebook because it's time suck.
It sure is.
I know. But maybe that would be a way where we could easily set up a joint page, if you will. And from which we might be, I don't know if you can develop a mailing list from that or not when people become your friend. Or if you can do email blasts to all of your Facebook friends who are on your site. That might be a more attract. I guess it would take somebody, a real Facebook fan, to be able to do that. It might well be a better idea. But the underlying notion is that we should we might do well to present a united front.
Yes,
And minimize the differences associated with our names and our functions, minimize the disparity of our functions, and therefore perhaps attract more of a groundswell of support in the town. I think that's the basic underlying notion.
yeah, well, I felt what I got out of it was that they talked a lot about there being ongoing communication. I guess, I don't know if Salisbury has a newsletter from the housing,
They do.
whatever.
They
And,
do. That's
yeah.
correct.
We do have some money in our budget for, printing. So we could, we could do a little bit of something before and if we don't use it before the end of the fiscal year, we lose it. So we probably should be thinking about something at least along that lines.
Well, we would need a name for this thing. My initial thought had been if we could find somebody who's about 100 years younger than I am, who has a real facility with Facebook and or building websites.
Yes, we need,
Who could put something together with some skill and facility, and you can see what they did in Salisbury, and there are samples in that video
handout.
lecture that address that.
So there is a young man that lives in town that needs to do an internship. He's a I think a political science major at Quinnipiac. And so he needs to have an internship, and so he approached Michelle about it. And he could probably help us with that since he's young and he knows how to do all that technical stuff much better than, well, I do. I don't know whether anybody else. How about you, Carol? You're younger.
I'm not much of a Facebook user, but I could certainly be helpful.
Okay.
Could figure it
How
out.
about- yeah, okay. So
we
the
would
other
have
thing,
we would have to establish a name and then some guiding principles and
Yes.
what our effort is involved in doing that encompasses all of our work, not just the
Yes.
separate work of the two groups.
well, I don't feel like we're ever, at cross purposes at all. I mean,
no, but it's really a public perception.
yeah,
issue. I don't think we're at cross purposes whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knows that we work together either. And that we both are trying to address the same issue.
yeah, so we have to come up with a mission statement, I guess, that would apply to both entities
Yes, I think that's correct. And a name.
and a name, okay?
Which might be something similar to the Washington Affordable Housing Initiative. Or something of that ilk. And we don't want to pretend that we're not separately part of this thing.
Yeah,
Both be listed as part of it.
that's anybody have any other suggestions, Washington affordable housing, and that sounds good.
I like Ted's leaning, I think, if I understand it, toward Facebook rather than websites. You've got to be intentionally wanting to go to a website to get its information, whereas people, if you're like me, I'm not a big Facebook guy, but I check it every once in a while and kind of run the table. And if stuff were popping up regularly from us jointly, I think we'd have a better chance through Facebook than, and even any kind of printed hard copy, I don't think would go as far as Facebook. But that's just my guess.
I know that,
Woody, I think your intuition may be right.
Michelle had brought up at some meeting when Jocelyn was there, about a postcard. And Jocelyn, she felt that wasn't very useful, that people look at it and then they just throw it away. So I don't know.
I mean,
there is,
this Facebook page could, whenever anything was accomplished or anything moved forward, for example, with Baldwin Hill, that could be the feature piece on the Facebook page. And that could last for 2 weeks or 2 months or 6 months, depending upon whether or not we accomplished, either of us separately accomplished anything.
yes. Chris?
I have a question, a broad question I'd like to ask Ted with his background. Ted, I'm remembering when I was on the Housing Trust and Tammy Laus was basically full-time, handling a lot of things at Dodge Farm, whatever, monitoring income levels to see if rents needed to be adjusted, helping educate people, to get their credit in order so that they could be pre-approved for a loan. And I'm wondering if the Housing Trust has so much expertise in the larger projects where you deal with a lot of the federal and state funding and things and work with people like David Berthoud. Does it make any sense for the Housing Trust to focus on the larger, which might be village center projects, for some smaller things to be handled by the Housing Commission? And I'm thinking, and the town wouldn't want to hear this, but what if the town were the entity that had the role of monitoring affordability and things like that?
Well, I think you're talking about splitting them up again. What I'm trying to talk about here is presenting a united face between the two groups, as if they share the same initiative. We do have different functions, but for example, we own the Baldwin. The Housing Trust, own the Baldwin Hill property, and are hoping to raise the money to put houses on that property. That's not inconsistent with the work of the Housing Trust and the Commission. And the Commission has been very helpful in getting town money to help us move forward on developing that project. So Chris, you have notions about what the Housing Trust should be doing, and that may be true, but I think the focus of this particular notion is, and can we also send, Judy, can you send Chris the link to that?
Yeah, did you,
What's that?
you didn't get to look at that link for the communications?
No, I didn't.
No,
Yeah.
could you send it, Judy, if you
Sure,
have?
yeah, I'll send it to Chris,
Chris?
sure.
And that's really about what the notion is that I'm trying to describe.
And I don't think I was thinking about splitting up the unified front that you were talking about. I was just thinking that that the different parts of the puzzle all have certain strengths. I mean, you would always want to coordinate, and something like the Baldwin Hill property, I imagine that it's going to require some funding to make that happen. Other things might be simpler, somebody wanting to put an affordable accessory apartment on their home. I don't know, but
Well, that would be the zoning, to be doing that.
Oh, no, but if it's affordable, then, and if it's deed restricted affordable, then the income, the rental, the rents have to be monitored, you know? And so, anyway, Ted, I didn't mean to, I'm not opposing what you said about, bringing the groups together into a unified front. I'm just saying that each group has maybe a different,
But we have very different,
Expertise.
we have very different functions. We have very different functions and variously different expertises. Although frankly, the trust expertise largely resides with Bill Fairbairn,
Yeah,
who understands the rules and regs up inside out, and many of the rest of the members of the trust do not.
but well, this communication workshop, webinar, they did, they talked about just trying to convince people in a very positive way how it will benefit everybody in town to have
Right.
affordable housing.
Exactly.
So that,
It's really a PR piece
yes,
and,
very
and,
much.
and promotes the idea of affordable housing, but hopefully to a broader spectrum of people than we're currently reaching.
Yes. So there's a community day that's gonna happen in June. I think it's maybe the first Friday in June. That might be another opportunity, or having a table there, or having a table at the Judy Black Park when they have the farmers market.
Well, that's
Well,
that's an opportunity where if we had a united name, if we had an umbrella
Yes.
name is what I'm talking about. If we had an umbrella name, and then both entities could man that table with material if they had, to the extent particularly, I don't think right now the Housing Trust has any handout materials. But a Housing Trust person could be there. And I think the basic notion is that it would reduce the suggestion that there are two different entities trying to do the same thing and they're not working together.
Okay, so if you heard in town that there are people that are confused or don't
Well,
understand it, or
I'm one of those people who's confused for years. When I was briefly on the Housing Commission when Wayne ran it, and I didn't understand there was a housing trust.
okay.
I didn't, and I'd already been here 20 years at that point.
I see the function of this commission as being supportive of affordable housing, the housing plan.
And so are we.
And yes, and supporting you. So that's why, we request the funds, we ask for ARPA funds, and that's what I see us doing.
Right.
Yeah, and I guess we need to, convey that to.
Well, it'd be
other
great if
people.
anybody could think of a terrific spellbinding name, other than the Washington Housing Initiative. But Washington Affordable Housing Initiative, but that might be name enough. And that might be the name of our jointly managed website or jointly populated website.
Yeah.
Website meaning Facebook.
So we come up with a name, we start doing some more publicity in some way, PR.
And we get
And then we're gonna have to do some fun, we need to support you in doing fundraising.
Yeah, and we need to do our own as well. But if we settled on a name, this young man could probably make a Facebook page in 10 seconds. And have some idea
Okay.
what to put on.
So what I suggest is that we think about a name between now and I'm not gonna be able to be here for our next scheduled meeting, so I'm gonna see if I can change it to when I will be here. if that's okay with our members,
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. One of the things is that we need, whatever our name is and whatever our mission statement is. We say it in a very positive way.
right.
That was the big thing that came out of that webinar as well.
I mean, this website might, this Facebook page might have items on it, bullet points, such as support workforce housing.
Yes,
That's one of the major issues in town.
yes,
Is that people
definitely.
who want to work, who work here can't live here. That could be the primary purpose
Okay,
of and focus of this particular Facebook page.
so what I'm gonna request of the members of the commission. And Ted, if you can get the members of the Washington Community Housing Trust to do, is in the next few weeks. To come up with some suggestions for names and mission statement. And then send it to me, and then I'll disseminate it among, and then we can maybe come to some kind of an agreement. Does that sound okay?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah,
How about Carrie? Charlie,
Yes,
Woody?
oh, yeah,
you think that's a good thing?
I do. I think that's a very good way to go about it, Judy.
and after, people should look at this communications presentation.
Yes.
It's about an hour.
Definitely.
It's-
I'm sorry that you guys didn't get it, and I will send that out.
But that will give you a whole contextual idea about what the notion is.
I did get a letter from Sarah, I think her name is Brunette. She's from the Washington Home Care. She sent a letter to the commission. Dear Shane, Judith, Robert, Henrietta, and Daryl. I assume that a great challenge is rental costs in or near Washington for homemaker. No, I assure you, I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble reading the handwriting. I can assure you that a great challenge is rental costs in or near Washington for homemaker companions, CNAs, PCAs, and HHAs. It's proven my greatest challenge while attempting to recruit service providers for service seekers. I often ask service seekers to please offer notice to professionals renting cabins, cottages, in-law spaces, apartments, so that they might consider providing housing for non-medical household help. It's my greatest challenge. Thank you for every effort you make. So I think that, if somehow or other we could publish that letter, to show people how difficult it is for some of our employees to get employers to get employees to work in town and to
But
live
I
in
mean,
town.
nobody in the depot can get, everybody in the depot struggles to get employees. And
Yeah, I know.
Sarah's on the green, but Titus Park can't find a mechanic to work at Titus Park who can't work in Watertown, who happens to live in Watertown, and unless Titus Park pays him a lot more than the guy can make in Watertown, he's not gonna drive to Washington.
Yeah,
Many of the businesses in town are really strapped. I'm not
Yeah.
specifically familiar with how it goes to the Washington market, but that there's a lot of turnover in the staff of the Washington market, that's for sure.
so one of the things, when we get this started, we probably will get. The employers to make some kind of statement so that the people in town understand how difficult it is for them.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
We could put
Well,
those
just-
up, we could put that stuff on a Facebook page.
yes,
I mean, one could
Yeah.
wander about from business to business and get a statement from any number of local businesses, perhaps.
definitely. Yeah. So. Anybody have anything else they want to say about this initiative? I mean, I like that name, but we'll see if somebody comes up with something catchier.
Yeah,
Yeah, and hopefully this young man that wants this internship will, have his internship proposal approved and be able to help us out.
Judy, who has to approve it?
His faculty advisor, I guess.
In
Somebody
other
from
words,
he's at Quinnipiac College.
is there anybody, there must be kids at Chapag who are clever as hell, with this kind of thing. I wonder if I mean, if he's gonna take him 6 months to get approved.
He's a Chappaqua graduate.
Right, well, but if it's
And
gonna take him, if it's gonna take him 6 months to get approval,
No, I don't think so. I think, within the next probably couple of weeks. I
okay,
think.
that would be important.
But yeah, you're right. We could look at Chappaqua if that doesn't work out.
I don't, last, as a function of my age and my kids being long gone, I don't know a single young person in town. Unlike Charlie or Woody.
Many, not many.
I know, I went to a softball game the other day, just, I happened to be walking around the Riverwalk. And I thought, I don't know any of these kids. Used to know them.
Well, Judy, my son is very adept at this. He's a communications director for NOFA, the New England
Yeah,
Organic Farmers Association.
oh, really?
And he understands all this stuff. So if this doesn't work out with the intern in a timely fashion, I'm sure I can corral him to do this for us.
Oh, that would be
Charlie,
awesome.
Charlie, maybe you could share with him the video too.
I will.
Because that gives, because as I mentioned, in Salisbury, there are more than one organization. But the presentation they offer to the public is a very unified one.
Okay. Yeah, I will.
And if he's a pro, he'll get it. It's the woman who wrote it is a young person who's a young pro at this, and she did an excellent job.
Oh, she was fantastic.
There are almost
Really?
templates in the video, not the video, but the hour-long lecture.
Great.
will
Well,
make sure.
he's pretty good at this stuff. Up until recently, he published Edible Nutmeg as well. So
Oh,
he's into all of that. Right.
Yeah.
yeah, he could be
What-
very helpful. Too bad he doesn't
what-
live in town.
What's his Charlie? What's his first name? I can't remember.
Dana
Dana,
Jackson.
of course. Yeah.
Do you know him?
So when Dana.
Well,
was
Dana
one of my
almost
sons-
lived. Dana almost lived in my so-called accessory apartment 6 years ago
Oh, that's right.
on Hinkle Road.
That's right.
Dana was also one of my son's teachers, and he was very effective at convincing John that John needed to convince us to eat raw vegetables.
Yes, he went through that phase. Thankfully, he's not doing it anymore. There was at the same time where he walked around barefoot all over everywhere.
Oh,
He's
does he-
he's
where does-
matured a lot.
Where does he live now?
He and his girlfriend bought a house in Litchfield right there on the green.
I see. So they're still around.
Oh yeah. They're close and we see him every day. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was at a meeting over at Montessori this week and, there was a parent who really wished that their child could go to the primary school here. But they can't, they do not live in town and they just can't, afford anything in Washington. And that's the way it is for many young people. Yeah.
Judy, the letter you read really brought it home to me. I wonder if is there a group like a community chest or Chamber of Commerce Business Association in the depot that meets periodically where that issue could be brought to them and really brainstormed, or are they so competitive for the few young people that they're not comfortable cooperating? I don't know.
There is a Woody, that's a great idea and a great direction. There is a community, a business association in the depot.
Yeah.
And it's very active.
They're now meeting at the pantry, once a month. They're having breakfast in the pantry at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I've been, recuperating from some surgery, so I haven't been able to go. But that's a wonderful idea because I'm game to go and stand up and ask for, if you will, testimonials from these people who are all of our colleagues and peers, who run businesses. That's a terrific idea, Woody.
Yeah,
I mean,
so you
Hickory
said that
Stick-
you were gonna go to one of those meetings and you're gonna ask them?
Yeah, I'll make an effort to do that.
That would be great.
The meetings are once a month at 8 o'clock, and I'll have to figure out. I think you have to pay $10 to go, and I think you get a pantry breakfast for your trouble.
I know there was some kind of announcement of the last meeting someplace where anybody who wanted to go was invited to come again. It
Right,
seemed like
that's
that
true.
anyway.
That's correct, Judy. You can
Yeah.
I think
correct
I think it's on, the head selectman's email that he sends out.
Yeah, okay, that's where it was.
I think that's where he publishes it every time there's a meeting.
Right.
I'll be home at the end of this month and would be happy to lend moral support, Ted, or anyone else who it might be helpful to strategize before such a breakfast and just figure out what we wanted to say.
Right. Good,
Okay, so I'm gonna count on the two of you doing that,
okay,
okay? Woody and Ted?
yeah. And frankly, I think it'd be terrific if we get Dana to do it. But we'll see.
If we could what?
Get
What did you
Dana, get Dana to do it. I'll check with Dana to just see what he can do or not.
Yeah,
Okay,
Did you want to do that, or do you want to wait until this intern thing is
well, I
decided?
think we should wait. I think we should wait at least a couple of weeks.
where does
I
the
think-
intern, where does the intern live, Judy?
He lives in Washington.
He doesn't live at school.
Oh, I don't know.
If he lives
I
at
don't know
school,
about
it's
that.
less convenient. It's much easier to sit down with people and
Yeah, oh, yeah.
for something like this, and if he's.
I
at
don't know
school-
whether well, I would think that he probably boards because, well, I don't know, maybe he commutes to Quinnipiac. I don't know.
Well, it's worth finding out.
I will try and find out.
Yeah.
Okay. And I will send that information out to everybody, and I'm gonna make sure that everybody gets the link to that webinar. And, so I'm gonna try and schedule the meeting for, let's see, I think our next meeting is supposed to be scheduled for, let's see,
Second Tuesday.
it must be for May 9th, okay? So I'm gonna try and schedule it for the 16th. If that's allowable. I mean, I'm gonna have to ask a town hall if I can do it.
No, sure you can do it. Sure.
All right, but I'm not, if there's another meeting scheduled at that time, I can't, so I'll have to find that out. But I'll send that information out to you too within the next day or two. Okay? Is there anything else somebody wants to bring up? Chris does,
Judy,
our visitor.
what's in the budget for the housing commission in this coming year? Because one of the things I've been concerned about is that you need more support in staff. And especially now that you're talking with the housing trust and you've got these ideas of coordinating things. I got spoiled when I was on the planning commission by Janet Hill. And she was always so thorough in
Well-
everything that she did.
We're doing the best we can with what we
No, I understand, but the town could budget for you to have,
We have a person that's supposed to be doing our minutes.
I know I got the minutes today.
I know, the minutes were not received until last week, Thursday, I think, yes.
I'm just,
Yeah, I know.
this is in support of
And
you guys.
I-
I think you deserve to have more support.
So what do you see as more support?
Well, support would be having a clerk who actually came to the meetings, okay? Is doing the normal stuff that a clerk does, minutes, noticing meetings and whatever. But they may have 4 hours a week or 8 hours a month or a couple days a month, whatever, to do follow-up tasks to support you guys, because I think what you're talking about doing, coordinating with Housing Trust, is it's more than a volunteer, I think, can do. But Ed, you've got a lot of experience on commissions. You may think that what you're talking about here,
We have,
we handle this.
all right, let me tell you what we have.
There's an allocation for the housing commission in next year's budget.
Yes, and
I'm not sure what it is offhand.
It-
But it's
what,
probably similar to what the housing commissions have this year.
yes.
And I
What,
think,
what? In the proposed budget, we have $2,000 for membership education consulting, 3,000 for printings and mailings, 250 for miscellaneous, and then $960 for the secretary fees, board and secretary fees. So that,
Well, it used to be that it was closer to $2,500, and that was like in 2015. So that's the last time I checked on that. Honestly, I feel you guys deserve more support for all the things you're trying to accomplish.
I think
I'm
that
just advocating for you guys.
the budget has been approved by the finance committee now, the proposed
Yeah.
budget has been approved by the finance committee. It's gonna go to the town meeting. And I think it's a little bit late to have
Yeah.
additional funds
it
allocated
is.
to the mission.
But I think, I think in the future, maybe we need to,
Well, you need
Advocate.
you need a member of your commission to take your own notes. I mean, that's what the housing
Well,
commission does.
all right, Ted, that's when we started, that's when I started. I was taking notes and I was doing, and they said, oh, no, you can't, you're not supposed to do that. Yeah, you need to have somebody else that's gonna do it, so, yeah, I don't know. Carrie, do you want to be note taker?
I'll be the note taker.
I mean, I can request that because I do think that it's been a problem with the minutes. Yeah,
Well, that's a problem for you to sort out.
and yes, and I have requested that we receive the minutes a lot earlier than we have in getting them. So we'll see what happens, but if that doesn't happen. But I do think, in the future, maybe we need to put in, ask requests for money. For capital budget for future projects. I think that's something that, we need to talk about maybe for next year. For sure. What we have right now is we have $100,000 in the down payment assistance budget. And then we have $226, it's $226,665 that we can use for other things. We are permitted to expend up to $10,000 without going to a town meeting. That's our spending threshold. Anything beyond that has to go to a town meeting. So that's where we are with that. And I was gonna pass out this packet of housing fund information. But maybe I can send it through email. I don't know whether I can. I'm not so good at that, but maybe I can get somebody to help me do that. Okay?
Good.
Anything else that anybody wants to bring up? Okay, so we're gonna be thinking about our mission statement. We're gonna be thinking about an umbrella name for both of our organizations. And Ted and Woody are going to go to the Business Association meeting and request some testimonials so that we can, that people would be willing to have them, printed in some form, either on Facebook or through town newsletter or something. And I think I'm going to follow up with this young man that would like to help us. And he's a very intelligent young man. I've met him before in another capacity. And, he's very enthusiastic. So I think he'd be very useful.
Well, if he doesn't have Dana's skills, it'll be a lot less useful.
Well. to
As
know that
nice a
this-
young man as he may be.
Okay,
Well, we gotta,
so
we gotta.
maybe we
reward-
can use both of them.
No, it just gets too complicated.
Okay,
You need a single person who.
so you want Dana,
Well, we'll see about his availability.
okay. It's good to know that we have him out there, possibility. The expertise would certainly be useful. Okay, if nobody has anything else, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned at 6:20. Great, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you all.
Bye. Thank you.
Now, let's see what I'm gonna do, just press. Yes.